well because he puts leadership into context, and leadership and change go together. Because how do you lead in terms of change? Or are your leadership skills brought out well when there is a change? And change can be in any place or in any circumstance or in any environment, be it at your workplace, be it in your home, be it in your personal life. Change is inevitable. We all must go through changes in our lives in one way or another. But some of us, we might complain about change. Yes, we do complain about change. Like now, the shift share story, we are complaining about it. The optimist will expect it to change, but the leader will adjust to say, the sales, how will we adjust to the changes that are happening in our lives? Let me tell you a story of an old man who one day decided he needed to sit. He was tired of sitting on a stone. And he said he needed to have a good seat or somewhere he can comfortably sit. And he thought, what exactly should I do? What do I need to come up with? What is the innovative idea that I need to come up with? And he got the light bulb moment. And he said, let me see. I want to come up with something that is round at the top that can be held by something. And so the first thing that he did was to have a vision, and that is leadership. So this is the story of the three-legged stool. So that is the leadership. He had a vision. He had a sense of direction. He knew where he wanted to go. But that did not make the stool balanced, did it? No, it didn't. So he thought, what else do I need to be able to plug in to ensure that this stool or the three-legged stool is complete? He brought in the aspect of project management. And he said, I want to be able to bring on board the moving parts and see how then do I manage these moving parts, the various parts that are moving. But then when he brought in the aspect of project management, this tool was still not balanced. And so he could not be able to sit on this tool. Of course, he couldn't. So there was something that was missing. Anyone can give it a guess? What is it that was missing in this particular process? Any guess? Okay, this is the point where you talk to me. You can unmute. Any guess? The third leg? I'm going to help you. So the third leg was change management, because the change management is what completes the process and makes it a success. Therefore, he had the three legs whereby you need leadership. You need to be able to have a framework of how you are going to implement or develop whatever it is that you want to develop to achieve success. You also need change management to be able to ensure that these parts fit and the three-legged stool works. So that, my dear friend, is the introduction to change. Allow me to quickly go now into the meeting, and for the purposes of guests, if you hear me being called TMOD, TMOD means Toastmaster of the Day, or TMOE, Toastmaster of the Evening, aka the MC of the meeting. This meeting is divided into three sections. So the first section will be the prepared speeches section, and the second one shall be the table topics. Table topics is a place whereby we practice our impromptu speaking, and any of us will be selected to be able to tell us something about a particular topic. And then the third and a very exciting session is the evaluation or the feedback session. That I welcome all of you to be able to participate in this meeting as we begin with the first section. But before that, there's a team that I'm working with that are going to help me run this meeting. So allow me to be able to welcome the tag team. And tag team in this case, I will have the timer, I will have the grammarian, and I will have the GE introduce themselves. Allow me to welcome the grammarian to begin by introducing her role. Over to you, grammarian.
Hello, can you hear? Okay, okay. So,
Yes,
when
we
we,
can.
uh-huh,
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
okay, all right. So, as a grammarian for today, it is my sole responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers and listen carefully to their language. I'll take note of any misuse of the English language. If there is any profound quotes used or phrases used, I'll make note of it, and I'll let you know when the report is called. For today, the word of the day is epiphany. Epiphany means it is a sudden realization or insight which is often profound. That means that it is something that comes to you at the moment. I'll give you an example. As she watched the sunrise, she had an epiphany. It also means that the person have grasped clarity and understanding about something, and they have a sudden realization or insight. So I'll give you another example. As I walked through the streets, I felt an epiphany of thoughts. So it can be anywhere you can have these thoughts. It is a sudden realization that you have within you. Do use it during your speeches and other role taking uh, parts. I will give you a thumbs up when you use it. And I would also let you know that grammar, if you want to, if you're having a fight with someone and if you correct them with grammar, it is the best way to annoy them. So grammar is something that we always have to keep in mind, especially me. So if we are having a fight, you just have to correct their grammar. Just say that, this is wrong. So you'll annoy them even more. Anyways, back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Madam Grammarian Ashraf. Thank you for that clarity in your role. Allow me to call upon the timer, Rahma, to be able to give us the timing protocols. Madam Timer, are you in the house? Are you in the room? Mr. SA, please confirm if the timer is in the room. If she's not in the room, I can quickly move to the General Evaluator. So, Madam General Evaluator, Madam Maggie, please take the stage and introduce your role.
Good day, evening, or whatever time it is for you. Once again, I have a fantastic role. I like to look at the general evaluator role as the critic, and not a critic who aims to destroy, but a critic whose duty it is to uplift, celebrate areas that are done well, and highlight areas that a club could do differently. In Toastmasters, we aim for quality. Quality does not mean perfection. It means that we do what we can to improve, because this is a learning platform. In my role as a general evaluator, I will be checking to see how well you are showing up as a learner, because we are here to learn. From the way the meeting is run to the way the roles are conducted, I will just be highlighting areas that you've done perfectly, not perfectly, but well, and areas where we could all do better in general as role takers or in general as a club. I will give my report at the end when I am called upon. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening or of the meeting.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. Allow me to go back to the timer. Mr. SAA, please work with me. Is the timer in the room?
I can't seem to see her. I think you can proceed.
Okay. So if the timer is not in the room, allow me to now proceed to the first section of this meeting, and that is the prepared speeches session. And on this, I shall call upon our content evaluator to be able to introduce our first speaker, Aska Bogaka, Our content evaluator shall be Lorraine Wangari. Over to you, Lorraine. Yes, Mr. SAA, your hands are up. You're mute. You are speaking on mute.
Thank you for that. Our timer is now with us. Feel free to call on her after, just before our first speaker gives the speech. Maybe Lorraine can go first. Then she can tell us how she's going to time that speech and the rest of the sessions before the speaker speaks. What do you think?
Okay, so thank you so much for that guidance, Mr. SAA. I would prefer that the timer goes first so that the speakers and evaluators are well informed. Over to you, Madam Taima Rahman. Taima, are you ready? Okay, I think as we give our timer time to be able to prepare herself, allow me to quickly move on to the content evaluator for speaker number 1, Aska Mogaka. I would like to be able to call upon Lorraine Wangari to be able to introduce Aska Mogaka's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Lorraine.
Thank you very much, Christine. Today, I have the privilege of introducing and evaluating Aska Mogaka. Aska is delivering a speech from Level 2, Project 3 in the Path Leadership Development. The purpose of Aska's speech is to talk about a time when she benefited from being a protege, or simply put, was a beneficiary of a mentorship experience. She is required to present a speech that is between 5 to 7 minutes long. The title of Aska's speech is The Heart of Toastmasters. Aska Mogaka, The Heart of Toastmasters, The Heart of Toastmasters, Aska Mogaka.
Can everyone hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
How many of you have had that one person in your life who believed in you even when you didn't believe in yourself? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our honored guests. I'm delighted to share with you how mentorship have shaped my own journey and how it plays a crucial role in helping us to become better leaders and communicators. When I first joined Toastmasters, I felt incredibly intimidated. When I was called to participate in table topics, I had nothing to talk about. I felt small compared to others who are speaking at peace. Like they have been preparing for this all along. That was my turning point. I was paired with my mentor, Sam Olwa. He's here to witness my progress. Hi, Sam. It was time for me to prepare for my first speech. I was excited, but overwhelmed, unsure of where to start, what to do, what is expected. Sam told me, relax, calm down, compose yourself, reminding me that the purpose of my speech is only to introduce myself to Toastmasters. To an extent, he gave me an example. Like he shared his experience that he was once where I was, unsure and nervous. His words were like a lifeline, echoing hope and calmness. I felt relaxed and I calmed down. I remember I sent him over 50 videos of myself preparing for the speech. He patiently reviewed each and every video, giving me a constructive and positive feedback and a word of encouragement. I felt better every time I was doing my corrections. Eventually, the big day was here. I stood on the podium. Suddenly, my blood running cold with nerves. I remember his words. After you can do it. You have the potential. I believe in you. His words ringing in my mind, I composed myself and I gave the delivery speech of my icebreaker speech. I gave it my all. When I finished the speech, the applause from my fellow Toastmasters were overwhelming. Do you know what? I was the, best speaker of the day. I came to realize that success and growth is a result of mutual commitment from the mentor and the mentee. If Sam didn't believe in me, if he didn't encourage me, I couldn't be there. Up to date, he inspires me and takes the pride on my progress. Fellow Toastmaster, mentorship in Toastmaster is a collaborative and supportive process where an experienced member, who is the mentor, guides the newer member, who is the mentee or protege, into achieving their goals. Our goals is to be good communicators, good leaders. What are these roles or features of a good mentor? One, a mentor must be patient and supportive, understanding that progress takes time. Number two, a mentor must be an active listener in order to know the challenges the mentee is going through and how to navigate them. Number three, must be a good communicator in order to give a positive and constructive feedback, which will encourage the mentee. On the other side, a mentee should be open to feedback, open-minded, ready to learn, respectful and appreciative, and determined for self-growth. Fellow Toastmasters, mentorship is the heart of Toastmasters. It creates a community where we get to learn from each other, celebrates wins together, and most importantly, navigate challenges together. I encourage each and every one of you to embrace mentorship. Let's embrace this opportunity which cultivates the culture of encouragement and growth that enriches the Toastmasters in our Toastmasters experience. Back to you, TMOD.
Wow.
Mentorship is the heart of Toastmaster. We will celebrate the wins together and navigate the challenges together. Self-growth, amazing speech. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Asker, for gracing us with that wonderful speech. Now, allow me to be able to remind all of us that there is a form that has been posted by our SAA, and I'm looking for the form on the chat so that we can to enable us to give feedback to our speaker number one. There's a form there, there's a Google form. Please just take a minute of your time or 30 seconds of your time to be able to give feedback to our speaker number one. And I would also like to confirm that I can now be heard. Please confirm that you can now hear me.
I can
clearly.
see you, I can hear you. Carry on.
Fantastic.
And our timer is also now on screen.
Music to my ears. Thank you, Mr. SAA. Please take 30 seconds to fill in the form and give feedback, constructive feedback to our speaker number one. Now, change is something that we all fear. I do fear change. The first time I was told to take the stage and give my icebreaker, oh, my heart skipped a beat. Everyone fears change. It was a change for me. The environment was different. Everyone looked like they were so good, and I was so afraid. But I took a leap of faith and did it anyway. You can do it afraid. Allow me to now move on, even as we continue to give feedback to our speaker. Please allow me to welcome the timer as we continue to give the speaker feedback. Speaker number one, feedback timer. Please give us the timing protocols. Timer, Rama, are you on? Are you in the house? Are you in the room?
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and invited guests. I'm sorry for the inconveniences I caused, but as a timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific time remaining. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will display the green card in my background. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will display the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will display the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times and most probably 5 to 7 minutes 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I will display the green card at my background. At 6 minutes, the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will display the red card. For the individual evaluation and for bilingual Watabaruku bilingual Toastmaster Club, we have delivery evaluators, content evaluator, and the grammarian. So for the content evaluator, that will be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will display the red card. For the delivery evaluation, that is 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will display the green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, I will display the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will display the red card. 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will display the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, I will display the red card. After that, I will give my report. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer, for that comprehensive timing protocol that has been provided. Allow me to now move on very fast and go on to our speaker number 2. Our speaker number 2 is our own DD, Robert Karanja, who shall be evaluated by our content evaluator, Alligator Makori. Over to you, Toastmaster Makori, so that you can be able to introduce Robert Karanja's speech.
Thank you, indeed. Thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. It is my privilege to evaluate our second speaker for content. And as you heard, there will be others who will be evaluating delivery and language. Our speaker number 2 is DTM Robert Karanja. And today he is pursuing evaluation and feedback project, the first speech. The purpose of this 5 to 7 minute speech is for Robert to practice applying feedback and to serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. I think I have gotten it all wrong, if this is the one that he sent me. But if I go back to his share, it seems that I got what he actually sent me. In this, normally we look at how analytical the member is. And in this case, yes, the purpose is for Robert to present a speech and receive feedback, and then weave this feedback going forward. What speaker number 2 is pursuing is persuasive influence path, level number 1. He's giving us the first speech. He has chosen an intriguing title for his speech, and I am looking forward, and I hope all of you are looking forward to hear what the title Foreigner to Family portends. Foreigner to Family, Robert Karanja, Foreigner to Family. Over to you.
Times in the past. However, the first time I ever came to Addis Ababa is etched in my mind. I remember seeing as the plane was descending onto the runway, I was looking outside the window, and the city was sprawled out, outlined by the lights, which were contrasted against the darkness of that night. I remember wondering, who are the people who lived in this city, and what kind of lives did they live? When I got into the airport, it was pandemonium. People were rushing to catch their next flights. The noise was excessive. The footsteps, the dragging of the luggages, and the dragging of their feet. It blurred out the sound of the PA. The little English that I could get was incomprehensible because of the different rhythm in which it was spoken. There were signs all over the place, granted. However, because the Amharic was so alien to me, even the English translations did not make any sense. The airport staff tried to guide us with gestures, but their unusual accents made it very difficult for me to understand what they were saying. I felt completely lost. Even though it wasn't the first time that I was out of Kenya, that was the first time I actually felt truly like a foreigner. I was lost, I was overwhelmed, I was completely out of place. And so you can imagine the kind of trepidation I felt when I realized a few months ago that I had to move to Addis Ababa and live there for several months. The thought of living in that unfamiliar city drove me almost to despair. How would I ever manage it? When we got here, my wife and I got a guide to take us around the city and help us settle for 2 weeks. He would speak on our behalf as we went around looking for apartments, as we learned where to shop, as we learned interesting places to visit, opened bank accounts, and even got telephone lines. However, when his work was done, that old disorientation that I felt during the first time crept back. I remember one afternoon when I tried to order food on a delivery app. As the driver was heading my direction, he called me to confirm the directions, and it turned out he did not speak a word of English. Me trying to guide him to our apartment turned into a comedy of error. I remember at some point I was so frustrated that I kept blurting out over and over, "I do not speak English." My wife keeps laughing at that thing to this day. And I realized at that moment I needed to change my approach. It was a wake-up call. That interaction with that delivery driver got me thinking about my communication style. I realized that it was both a double-edged sword. The downside of my communication style is that I find it frustrating when I need to depend on others for things that I cannot do for myself. My drive for results and my focus can end up seeming a bit abrasive for people. This is not at all good. When you cannot speak the local language, you come out sounding hostile, and this can be quite unhelpful. On the other hand, I do have strengths. I am result focused and result oriented. I am motivated to face challenges. And this turned out to be quite an advantage for me. The way I decided to approach it was to let go of control. Rather than seeking my own goals when trying to communicate with people, I would seek out to understand what they wanted for themselves. Take the example of the delivery driver. All he wanted to do was complete that order and then move on to the next one. I realized that I could have been more helpful by identifying a landmark and then directing him to it. Then I would walk the few meters up to that place and pick up my delivery. It would simplify the process, it will be less frustrating, and it will work for the both of us. That is the approach that he decided to take over the next couple of months. One of the most successful results of this approach is my Baba. She is an Oromo woman. I remember the first time I went into her store, I simply walked in and I smiled. She couldn't speak English. And so all I did was I pointed at my head, then pointed at my beard and sat down. At first, she looked a bit confused, but then she nodded and got right to work. Every once in a while, she would look at me in a questioning way, and I would nod to indicate that she was doing the right thing. When she was done, because I could not ask her how much it cost to cut my hair, I took out my wallet and showed it to her. She picked out 2 notes from that wallet. Over the last couple of weeks, we have developed an unlikely friendship, and she has picked up a few English words. The last time I was there, she pointed at the other locals and said, "These are customers. You are family." Right now, if I looked outside my window, I can see planes landing at the Addis Ababa airport. And looking back to that first time I came to this city, I realized as I was asking that question about who are the people in this city, I should have realized that there are people like me, people who simply want to get things done. And I could have been less disoriented if I simply tried to connect with them. Whenever you're faced with an uncertain situation, let go of control. Communication needs to be a collaborative effort where both of you seek to find a common ground. And so if you find yourself in an unusual situation, whether it is a new job, a new team, a new country, or any other thing, let go of control. Seek to connect with the people around you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
let go of the control, seek to connect with people around you, because change is about people. It is people that you need to manage during a change process. I can feel you, Toastmaster Robert, what you went through. That was a humongous change, moving from one geographical region to another with different people. That reminds me of a time that I moved somewhere else and I was looking for my favorite ugali flour, only to be told that in that region is known as breakfast meal. That was the shocker of my life. Please let us go to the chat and be able to provide feedback to our speaker number 2. Let's take 30 minutes. They're very easy questions. I went through the first one. Please let's take 30 minutes, 30 seconds, sorry, to be able to fill it up very quickly, give you feedback. What did it do so well? What are areas that it may need to improve on? And I wish to remind all of us, including myself, the word of the day, epiphany. It is on the chat. I hadn't seen it, so thank you so much, Madam Grammarian, for that. Please let us be able to give feedback to speaker number 2. I cannot be able to see the form, Mr. SAA. The link for speaker number 2, has it been posted?
It is the same link. I have reposted it.
Thank you so much. So the same link, there it is, audience feedback for speakers there. Please click on it and just take, it's like A, B, C, and fill it up for our speaker number 2 as we prepare for our speaker number 3. Now there's an old man who got so creative and said that he had boats. He had always been in the business of boats, and the sailors got used to it and they loved the boats. Until one day he got a fresh idea and he said, why don't I now expand and just be able to come up with ship and make ship, so that instead of using boats, we can be able to have a beautiful ship, so that the sailors can now, instead of them sailing on the boat, they can be able to sail on the ship. And I want to show you how it looks like. Even as I prepare to call upon speaker number 3, please prepare yourself. I believe you can be able to see the boat and the sailors little there, that little picture there, and this ship. Amazing, isn't it? So he came and voila, he told the sailors, now this is the new ship or the new vessel that I would like you to be able to work with. When they saw that, they were excited, of course, pretty big, nice, status increased. But let me tell you, 1 month down the line, they did not sail, or they did not captain the ship. It stayed exactly where it was. What was the problem? The problem was change. Remember, as human beings, we are naturally inclined to resist. In fact, that is our first response, to resist. And why do we resist? For various reasons. Fear of unknown. Maybe we do not know how to use it. Maybe this just looks like it's taking so much from us. But why most people resist is because of what they are losing, other than what they are gaining. Hang in there. We shall come back to it as I call our speaker number 3. Our speaker number 3, are you ready? Are you ready? And I believe you have all filled the feedback form for our speaker number 2. So our speaker number 3 is none other than Toastmaster Jonathan Kutosi. Jonathan Kutosi shall be evaluated by our content evaluator, or shall be introduced by our content evaluator, Dr. Kevin Rubia. Dr. Kevin Rubia, please take the stage and introduce Jonathan Kutosi's speech. Over to you.
Mombasa Island Toastmaster Jonathan Kutosi is in the second project of the Presentation Mastery Path, Level 2. The project is called Effective Body Language. Its purpose is twofold. One, for Jonathan to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language. And secondly, to learn, practice, and refine how he uses non-verbal communication when delivering a speech. In the next 5 to 7 minutes, you will hear a speech entitled, You Give Who You Are. Jonathan Kutosi, You Give Who You Are. You Give Who You Are, Jonathan Kutosi.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. You give who you are. That is the subject of the day. A quote that came from one of the greatest speakers of the world, Miles Monroe, that you can never give what you do not have. You can only give what you have. And what you have defines you into becoming that which you want to. In front of me here, Toastmasters and guests, I have several things here. I have this bottle of water. Now, it's branded nicely, but what is branded here is the bottle, not the water. For this bottle to be able to give what is inside, it has to be defined on the outside. It can only give you what it has. I can go on. There's this juice before me. They call it mango. But how sure are you that what is inside is mango? It's first defined on the outside. Therefore, in our life, we first of all have to gain the dreams that we desire to give to the world before we define ourselves. Therefore, everybody looking at you would be able to say, Dr. Kevin, because Dr. Kevin has acquired knowledge and skills to define him as a doctor. And I'm so happy that Dr. is the one that has put me on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, my son was having a lot of problems in mathematics. And every time he could come home, whenever I give him a maths problem, he could push away the paper. So I asked him, what is the problem? How can we work together to improve this? He told me, I hate mathematics. So we started on an assignment together. I told him that for you to like mathematics, you must first of all become mathematics. And so we started on an assignment where we practice every day, 10 sums every day. And by the end of 30 days, he was already doing 15 sums every day. The classmates started coining a terminology to refer to him, a mathematician. Remember, he didn't have it before, but through gaining of the skill through practice, he slowly became an expert in mathematics. When the first exam came, he had 95%. Remember, he hated maths before, but now he has become a maths expert. You give who you are, you give what you have. And for you to acquire what you want to give to the world, it has to be deliberate. Ladies and gentlemen, one time a manager walked into our office. He was looking for a laptop. And many of my colleagues knew that the guy who had the best laptop is Jonathan, because I had bought an Apple MacBook Pro M3 laptop that costed me around 200,000 shillings. And so everybody in the company knew that this guy, Jonathan, is one of the owners of the best laptops. But when I gave it out to the manager who was looking for the laptop, he typed, what is he looking for? I've given him the laptop. He told me, Jonathan, you know what? This laptop has the right memory. I said, yes, thank you. He now came and said again, this laptop I've confirmed, Jonathan, it has the right size. But something is wrong with your laptop. It does not have CorelDRAW, a driver that I'm looking for to use. So he was able to put aside the best laptop in the company because it lacked something small. It could not give him what it did not have. For it to be able to serve him, it was first of all to have the software that would be able to drive his agenda. And therefore, my laptop was disqualified because it did not have something that it was to give out. Ladies and gentlemen, every day, the environment is changing us. Every day, the environment is installing some things in our lives. As you walk with your friends, character is being installed in you. Slowly and slowly, you're becoming who your friends are. If you're not careful, you're going to give to the world negative things if you're not associating yourself with positive friends. One time, an athlete came from the field, and he was sweating, sweat all over him. And so the media people were there, and the question was posed to him, how did you manage to become number one on the pitch? The athlete looked at them and said, you are wrong. I did not become number one on the pitch. I won my race in the training arena. Therefore, he did not become a champion on the pitch. He became a champion in the training arena. How about us, the great speakers of this world? We want to become the great psychologists. One gentleman introduced himself on the stage with a lot of lowness in him. He said, you know what? I am the greatest psychologist. I have given several speeches in US, in UK. And then everybody tuned to listen to him because we were like, okay, somebody who has given a speech in UK must be a great guy. What about us? What are we doing every day to become great? What are we doing every day to become experts in our area? We want to become great communicators, motivational speakers. We want to become boy-child drivers, the girl-child drivers. What are we doing to become that we are seeking for? Ladies and gentlemen, we have to deliberately practice and practice and practice to become that which you want to give to the world. Remember this, that for you to become a game changer in this world, you must first of all become a change agent. To become a change agent, you must become your dream. And for you to become your dream, you must be able to acquire that you want to help you become that which you want to give to the world. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you only give who you are. Therefore, Jonathan is a boy-child expert. I can only give that knowledge that I've been able to gain. You only give who you are to the world. You can never give what you do not have in you. Back to you, TMOD of the week.
So much energy, so much oomph. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Speaker number 3, you only give who you are. You only give what you have. You can never give what you do not have. What is it that you have? Please share it with the world. We are waiting to tap from you whatever it is that is in you. And each one of us has something special in them. For you to be a game changer, you must become a change agent. Well done, congratulations. Please let's go back to the chat and get the link so that we can be able to evaluate speaker number 3. Speaker number 3, let us give him feedback, constructive feedback about his speech. What did he do well? What are the areas that he may need to improve on? Without further ado, I have gotten an epiphany about how we are going to run this meeting to ensure that we meet the timelines that have been set, because we have to adhere by the timelines. And so I'm going to very quickly move to our table topic session. Are you ready? I am ready for the table topic session. Please, table topics master, you are going to take us to a thrilling session, and you are going to let us know what you have in store for us within the shortest time possible. But before that, please introduce your role, Madam Frida Wanyasi, or Toastmaster Frida Wanyasi, Topics Master. Please take the stage as we continue to evaluate our speaker number 3. Topic Master?
Yes. Hello, Toastmaster.
Hello, Hello, Toastmaster Frida.
Hello, table. Am I audible enough? I hope so.
There's a problem with your network, so your audio is not so
Hello,
clear.
hello. Can you hear me now?
I can, although you may need to work on your network. I don't know whether it's on my end. Mr. SA, please confirm if she's breaking.
Hello.
I can hear her now.
Okay.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening. Good evening. Please.
Table topics. I'm thrilled
Just
to
a
be your
minute.
table topics master for today's meeting.
Just a minute, topic master.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a minute.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes. I can hear you. Please, Madam Timer, confirm how long are we going to have table topics? How long is it going to last?
Less than 10 minutes if possible.
Yes. So thank you so much. Please give us about 3 questions. Table topics master, over to you.
Fellow Toastmasters topics master, to our guests, table topics is an exciting segment of our meetings where we practice impromptu speaking to improve our public speaking and communication skills. So I'll be presenting you with questions, and each speaker will have 1 to 2 minutes to respond. The goal is not perfection, but to help us. So I'll give out 3 questions. Any volunteer in the house, kindly? Or should I pick up names? Any volunteer, kindly? So let me pick up names. The first question goes to
There's a hand.
Hassan Jabri from Mombasa Island. Hassan Jabri, Toastmaster Hassan Jabri.
Okay. We had somebody, I think, who was ready to. Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay, let us have the volunteer first, then the second one goes to you, Hassan.
Okay.
Kindly.
Ali Makori volunteered.
The question goes to Ali Makori. Toastmaster Ali Makori, how do you help others adjust to change? How do you help others adjust to change?
Human beings are reactive humans. They are reactive beings. You don't help them to adapt to change. No, you thrust the change upon them. Because if they do not respond, then the surroundings will force them to change. In fact, it has been said that if you don't change, change will change you. So why should I bother even helping anyone adapt to change? No, trust that different environment to them, and it behooves them to adapt as quickly as is possible. Let me give you my own personal example. I grew up in Nairobi, and lo and behold, my father moved me to Mombasa. When I reached Mombasa, the language that I used to speak in Nairobi no longer could work. I had to speak pure Kiswahili. Living in Magongo, going to Bomu Primary School, I simply had to learn to speak Kiswahili so as to be understood. Almost where Toastmaster Robert had to learn very quickly how to connect. Change forces us, human beings, intelligent beings, Homo sapiens, as scientists, scholars, to change. So embrace change. Don't wait for anyone to change you. You must as an intelligent person, realize that every day you are changing. Even after this meeting, I am certain that you already have changed because of all the perspectives and knowledge that you've heard. Welcome to the world, a world where the only thing that is permanent is change. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali Makori. The next question goes to Toastmaster Hassan Jabri, and the question goes as follows. What is one change you have embraced recently and why? What is that one change you have embraced recently and why?
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The biggest change which can happen to anybody is that you should be ready to change every day. You face a lot of opportunities, a lot of challenges. So for me, every morning I wake up, I'm ready to face changes. And the latest change is when I stopped giving people loans. I stopped because I used to be very kind and philanthropic to the community. But every time I give people loans, they don't pay back. So I've changed, and I've changed that from now on, there's no giving loans. If at all it's anything, it's giving people grants or assistance. Maybe 10% of what they requested is a loan. So I've changed in that sense that no more loans. It's only charity. I can give charity to people. I can give assistance to people, but many friends, neighbors, relatives, they come and they want, I look like, like a rich guy, although I'm not rich, but I try to assist. But assisting everybody, especially through people who tell you, I'll pay you next week. I'll pay you on Tuesday. I'll pay you on Wednesday. That Tuesday, Wednesday doesn't come. So I've changed. From now on, there's no longer next Tuesday, next Wednesday. I'm sorry. It shall be only assistance as a gift. And it won't be the amount someone needs. If someone needs 20,000 to pay his house rent or 30,000, 40,000, I'm sorry. I'll give you only 3,000. But I'm not going to, and that's a gift not to be paid back. No more loans. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hassan. The final question now goes to one of our guests. We have Emmanuel Mbasu, who is our guest. Emmanuel, how do you stay calm during sudden changes? How do you stay calm during sudden changes? Our guest, Emmanuel Mbasu, kindly respond. How do you stay calm during sudden changes? Do we have Emmanuel in the house?
It is muted.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. How do I respond to changes? And how do I stay calm? So personally, I just smile because change is inevitable. You just have to embrace it and grow with it. So I'm new to this, but I know that there is a lot to learn with the people that have mastered the art of speaking. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I would like to thank everyone who participated. I hope everyone had fun and took something valuable from the experiences. And now back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Aha, a round of applause for our topics master for being on time and for giving us those wonderful questions around change. Now we will move on to be able to vote. Mr. SAA, please confirm if we are ready with the polls for the better speaker and the better table topics. speaker. There we go. The best speaker poll is up. Please let us vote for the best speaker. Oscar, Robert, and Jonathan Kutosi were on the speakers list. I have thoroughly enjoyed the table topic session and the table topic speaker. Oh my, I do not know how we shall vote for these ones. Let's vote, let's vote. We are at 50%. Looking for some more people to come on vote, please. Looking for three more people to vote. Please, let's vote. It's just clicking. Your better speaker. Thank you. One more, so that we close the poll in 3, in 2. One more in 1. SAA, we can be able to close that poll so that we put up the better table topic speaker poll. Thank you for voting. Let's put up the better table topics speaker poll. Ali Makori, the only permanent thing is change. Hassan Jabri, you should be ready to change every day. He stopped giving loans. Hassan, we will see you. I'll see you behind the red tent, please. Emmanuel Mbasu, change is inevitable. You just have to learn and grow with it. Who will be your better, or who is your better table topics speaker today? SAA, do you have that poll ready?
Yes, it is launched and attendees are voting.
Okay. I can see it. Thank you. Please vote. Looking for one more person. Please vote for your better table topic speaker. And we are going to close this poll in 3, in 2.
Pardon, Madam Tiamodi, can you please
Yes.
invite the evaluators? We are running out of time.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. In 1, we close the poll. As I invite the feedback, we go to the feedback section, and I do invite the evaluator. Allow me to invite the evaluator number 1. So I'm going to invite the content evaluator for speaker number 1, that is Lauren Wangari, who shall be able to invite the delivery evaluator as well. So over to you, Toastmaster Lauren.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Asa Mogaka was captivating. I love that you started your speech with a question. And this question led to our
Mr. S.A.?
Unfortunately, she's dropped out.
Okay. Can we call the delivery evaluator?
Yes, please.
Toastmaster Chibole and Adanje Chibole, please take up the stage.
Thank you very much, TMOD. Today I have the pleasing pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Asa Mogaka. Toastmaster Asa, please confirm you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Your physical appearance set the virtual connection with me as an audience in your choice of outfits, the shade of yellow and a very bright blue background complemented your enthusiasm. I knew I was waiting for a very joyful message, and you did not disappoint. Thank you. Your gestures beautifully mirrored the emotions in your speech, emphasizing key points and creating a deeper connection with me. For example, I felt small, my blood running cold. It reminded me when I delivered my icebreaker. Your use of stage and props was impactful and dynamic, and it was quite surprising. I didn't expect Best Speaker to actually be written. You demonstrated interest in us as the audience when you said, or when you asked, "Can you hear me?" And you didn't start until we confirmed we could hear you. I've already borrowed that. And when you also called out to your mentor, "Hello, Sam," it showed that you actually were interested in us receiving. Now, what areas can you improve on? Your body positioning. It showed confidence, but refining the staging of your gadget would have helped me observe you at eye level, because I was left to feel like you were looking down at me from a higher elevation, especially when you said, "I delivered that speech." At first, the fist was coming at me fast. You started off with a steady and very clear pace. When you said, even when you didn't believe in yourself, you paused. You allowed us to reminisce on those moments when you didn't believe in ourselves. However, towards the end of your speech, I could hear your breathing, open to feedback, ready to learn. We get to learn from each other. I could hear you tensing as the clock was ticking. I would urge you to incorporate more pauses. This will allow you time to catch your breath, to allow the audience sink in the message. And you can enhance this by practicing your speech more. Not that the 50 videos were not enough, but probably just add a little bit more as you practice on pauses. Your enthusiasm, your use of gestures, props, and stage, and your interest in the audience is a clear indicator that you have stood on the shoulder of giants like Sam Olwa. I would urge you, elevate your gadget for better staging and be more mindful on the use of poses to elevate your speech going forth. And you might just keep winning the best speaker to international level. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Madam Evaluator. I would wish to be guided. Mr. SA, do I call upon the grammarian?
Please call on our first evaluator.
The first evaluator is Lorraine. Toastmaster Lorraine, are you back?
Yes, I am. Sorry for the hitch.
Take it up.
Okay, I will start from the beginning. Toastmaster Asuka Mogaka, your speech was captivating. And I love that you started with a question which led to a well-structured speech that had an opening. As you began by telling us what you'll be talking about, you then went to the body, to which you told us about your mentor, and the conclusion where you let us know why you believe that mentorship is the heart of Toastmasters. I love how you put together your ideas in a manner that allowed for members to follow through. From telling us who your mentor is to the vital role he played in helping you deliver the first speech, and eventually the important role he still plays in your development as a Toastmaster. Additionally, my interest, and I believe that of everyone else, was captured by three things. One, the question you chose to begin your speech with. Two, the choice to point out your mentor in the audience and even say hello, and watch as we wait patiently for Sam to respond, and respond he did. And number 3, circling back to the idea that mentorship is the heart of Toastmasters. What do I feel that you can work on? In Toastmasters, one of the guidelines given when presenting a speech is that the speech should not be a direct report on the content of the project. And in this case, which is your project, the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. By presenting to us the characteristics of a mentor, you presented to us part of the content of this project. You can work on this by explaining how your mentor exhibited these characteristics through your journey in Toastmasters, as opposed to telling us how he's active, and as opposed to telling us that a good mentor is active and supportive, a good communicator, or a good listener. Tell us how some exhibited support, good communication, and good listening skills. All in all, I commend you for delivering a speech that is well-structured, engaging, developed with ideas that are well put together, transitions that are weaved seamlessly, and not forgetting that you need to remember that the content of the project is essential for speech development and is not a part of the speech. Well done, and I look to hearing more speeches from you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Madam Content Evaluator. Mr. Essay, confirm if the grammarian comes in at this point.
Yes, please.
Over to you, Toastmaster Hiba Ashraf.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so you can see right now. Is it okay?
Yes, you may proceed to give your evaluation of the speech of just grammar.
Okay, of the speech. Okay. So after listening to our first speaker, the certain phrases and vocabularies that she profoundly used were expressing on what she felt when she went through the fear, being so unsure. She have mentioned that her mentor was like a lifeline, echoing hope and kindness. That was a phrase that was so eloquently used. And then you have used the phrase of mutual connection, pride on progress, embrace, to cultivate the culture, and so forth. You have used fruitful essence of emotions whenever you were using certain words. I felt so fearful. I felt so unsure, and you were making that kind of gestures. That really profound. That profound expression made the word itself, whatever you were saying itself, more memorable and heartfelt. There was a small mistake that I found out, and a suggestion too. It is actually not called protege, it's called protege. So you can try saying that the next time you go for it. Either ways, the rest all was just perfect. There was not such mistake. There was no such mistakes as such. And you also you made it sure that your vocabularies were used intact. There was no mistakes as such. Yes. That was about the first speaker.
Thank you so much, Madam Grammarian, for that evaluation. Allow me to call upon our second content evaluator, Mr. Ali Makori. Take up the stage and give your evaluation for speaker number 2.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief. Toastmaster Robert Karanja, well done for your speech with the intriguing title, Foreign to Family. You must have captivated us with your raw introduction to Addis Ababa, effortlessly conveying the nuances of language barriers, speech rhythms that you encountered, inflections and pronunciations. I remember that oh so well. You then seamlessly transitioned to your house hunting adventure. You took us along with you, and you graciously introduced us to your local guide who helped you during this phase and served as an eloquent mouthpiece rather. He was your eloquent mouthpiece. Your enchanting account of the encounter with that lady barber, that was very interesting as well. And you came from using some rudimentary sign language to finally hearing the beautiful and delightful words, "These are customers, but you, Robert, are family." That resonated deeply with me, and I hope with everyone else. But I had an epiphany. I have heard you speak many times before, and this is something that you could do better. You always write and speak the King's language, nowadays it's the King's language, for the ear, and much more delightfully than you did tonight. Bring back the mojo. You finish with advice: relinquish control and seek to establish meaningful connection with those around you. Yes, when we find ourselves in a situation that we are out of our depth, you put it aptly. I commend you for giving us a gem, and I take this as a gem, that we take home with us from your speech. It is always important that when we speak, we give something of value. I appreciate that, and I commend you from the deepest recesses of my heart. I now sit ground to the delivery evaluator. Welcome.
Thank you. I am Dean Robertson. I don't know if I'm supposed to be introduced, but am proud to be given the delivery of this fantastic speech that distinguished Toastmaster and District Director Robert gave to us this evening. I was so happy to have my friend Dr. Rubia ask me if I could evaluate, and when I had reached out to the speaker to connect with him, I thought, gosh, that name sounds familiar. And then I had an epiphany. I went to the website and he's our district director. So as far as I'm concerned, where I'm at, how my culture is, no matter where the person is within Toastmasters, what club he's visiting, they should always give honor where honor is due. He is our district director, and he should be called that when you're speaking of him or about him or to him. District Director Robert, I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. I'm doing the delivery, which is talking about the physical, the appearance, the body language, the flexibility, the volume, and the platform style, which is your directness, the enthusiasm. You had all that. You had enthusiasm. You definitely had vocal variety. There was moments where you were soft. There was moments where you were loud. The one thing I would ask is, you gave us such a great story of foreigner to family. There was some moments where I think you could have improved it by having a little pregnated pause to let us kind of think it through what you're talking about, and to give that speech more punch, because there were some areas that you kind of kept going. I went, oh gosh, I wish you would have paused there and then gave the punch. Also, I liked your background. However, I wished it was a different background, because I saw you had great gestures. However, I wish it was a different background, because for me, I think some of your gestures were lost, and I would have loved to have seen more movement, because in my camera, I saw that you had room on the left and room on the right. I would challenge you to ask if during your presentations, if you would find areas in your speech that you can move a little to the left and keep us engaged with the moving. But the gestures were good. I loved it when you did the hair, and then you did the chin for the shave. I did think that there was a lot of consistent movement with in the middle, which I felt it kind of made me feel nervous, like maybe you were nervous, but I'm sure you weren't. But if you could try to find some other more hand gestures that would be applied better to the words that you're saying, that's more impactful. But other than that, it was an absolutely joy to evaluate you and to hear your speech. I did like the thing that that was brought up where the hairdresser said, out there's customers, but you're a family. I thought that was really powerful. And I also thought it was powerful when you said to lose the control and to seek to connect with people. That's what it's all about. It's all about people. Thank you. And I wish you well. And I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, our delivery evaluator. Let me call upon the grammarian to be able to give her feedback for speaker number 2.
Yes. So about speaker number 2, he used a very weaved way of many vocabularies and certain phrases which were very eye-catching, Those were edged, outlived by light, contrasted by darkness, noise which was excessive, dragging feet, the sound of dragging feet which bled out sound, incomprehensible, so alien to me, unusual accents, crept back, drive for result, double-edged sword, blurting out. These were very, this was used in not so excessive manner, but it was just right at the moment. And these usages made his speech much more elaborate, and we could actually feel what he was feeling through these vocabularies. Sadly, he didn't use the word of today. Yes, over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Grammarian. Allow me to now call upon our third evaluator to be able to evaluate the third speaker's speech, the content evaluator, Dr. Rubia. Take up the stage.
You give who you are, you give what you have. Those 9 words summarize your speech today, Jonathan. An inspirational way to motivate us to change and become what we need to be to those people around us. As your content evaluator, mine is to talk about your speech structure and purpose, how you excelled in them, and what you can do to make your speech better moving forward. A thing I liked about your inspirational speech was that you used specifics. Jacqueline Woodson, an American writer, says, the more specific we are, the more universal something can become. Life is in the details. If you generalize, it doesn't resonate. The specificity of it is what resonates. What resonated with me, Jonathan, was that you gave us the time duration, for example, of how long your son took to become a mathematician. Congratulations to him. 30 days. You also told us about your Apple MacBook Pro M3 that can do everything except CorelDRAW. That specificity made your speech more memorable. It added meat to the flesh. Specifics. Secondly, your personal story. What a transformation I can imagine you saw from your son who wasn't performing so well in mathematics to getting 95% and above. That is a testament of what your speech message was trying to show us, that if you put enough effort, you can actually become what you want to be and give it to others. Inspirational stories, ladies and gentlemen, need personal anecdotes so that the transformation can be seen. What I think you can work on is your speech structure. The epiphany at the end of your speech was how we as human beings can work on ourselves to develop the knowledge and the skills to become better. I noticed that in your examples, for example, yourself in your body, being a boy child advocate, your son becoming a mathematician, and then the laptop, which couldn't really much change, I feel that was a disconnect. Make sure that in your body you have live examples that relate to the key message. Secondly, your conclusion, I feel, was a bit flat. A conclusion is something that wraps up everything so that you can get the key message. In future, consider giving an example of the three things you mentioned about, for example, yourself, your son, and the laptop, and what you want us to end up with. That said, I love how specific you are in your speech and how you made use of personal stories to inspire me. Continue working on your speech structure, making sure that your examples match your message, and concluding with impact so that we do not forget the key message. You have rose to the challenge. You gave us what you have. I salute you and applaud you as you move to your next project. Over to Toastmaster Hassan El Jabri to evaluate your delivery.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Jonathan Kutosi, my member from Mombasa Island. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Kevin Rubia for approaching me to come and take part in this evaluation. And I was shocked to see 5 of my members here. It's such a coincidence that 5 of our members from Mombasa Island are also taking part in today's meeting. Jonathan Kutosi has a lot of energy. I love that energy. I wish I had the same, and I wasn't trying to have that much energy. And Jonathan, you showed me energy. I was impressed by your body language. I was impressed where you stood facing the camera. And you were exactly facing the camera with confidence, and the background was excellent except for the files and the TV there. So it distracted me a bit looking at those files. I was trying to imagine what are those files are about. So I hope next time you don't show us those files, please, because I was distracted. Otherwise, you could make a better background, of course. And I love the way you compared, of course, your child with mathematics in 30 days. Of course, I hope my colleague talked about vocal variety. Your variety was all along energetic, very energetic all along. Sometimes you have to slow down a bit and pause. And it's good to see those props. I love props. You showed us some juice boxes or juice containers and soft drink containers. And of course, you give who you are. You made it so clear for us that each one of us should resonate should resonate with us. You give who you are. But anybody who annoys you, for example, it's him giving what he has, something annoying. So it teaches the lesson that let's always give good vibes, because it's a lesson for us that we give what we are. If you're a bad person, you give bad news. If you're a good person, you give good vibes. So we learned a lot from your delivery of you give who you are always. And of course, your vocal variety was very, very high all along. Some pauses and reduce the vocals sometimes, not always very high and energetic. Otherwise, back to the general evaluator, GE. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hassan. Allow me to call the grammarian to be able to give her feedback for speaker number 3.
Speaker number 3 have used phrases that was right in power. It was not excessive, but just the right usage. Till now, I have gone through the 3 speakers and I haven't found a mistake. That is why all of the things that I'm giving is good, because it was just excellent to hear all the 3 speakers. They were well practiced. So whatever you said, there was no grammatical error. And I feel like I had no job to do, but only take down the good things. So what you have told is that you give who you are, you give what you are, just like the content evaluator as well as the delivery evaluator have mentioned. You used it in cases right after you gave a meaning. So right after you're told that your son have excelled in mathematics and people have called him a mathematician, you have told you give who you are. So with that usage at the right moment really caught us, and it will make us remember that story. It will make us remember what you were trying to give out. So that was excellent. And what caught me deep into myself is that the phrase, he was a champion in the training era. So you were, normally we bring generalize a thought that champion should be one who reaches the last goal, and that is a champion. But you gave a different meaning, champion in the training era. And then you have asked us a question, that is, what are we doing every day in our life to be an expert? So that was also a very profound way of putting it. And then you have repetitively used practice, practice, and practice. So what all things you have given, it gives an impulse, as well as even if it is seemingly overused, it feels like it has been repeated. It is necessary that you have done so. So I wouldn't forget this story as well. All the 3 speakers were just beautiful. I'm just sad I don't have anything to say, but I'm just so glad I could hear you all and also improve my vocabulary and phrases. Thank you. Over to you, GE.
Thank you so much, Madam Grammarian, for that wonderful feedback. I would now like to call upon the SAA to be able to display the polls. That is, if we are polling for the evaluators. And even as it displays, allow me to transition very quickly to call for the reports. There we have the poll. Please vote for your best evaluator. And even as we vote, let me call upon the timer to be able to give her timer's report, very closely followed by the grammarian to be able to give her grammarian report, the general report for the meeting. Over to you, Rahma.
Okay, thank you very much, Modi. So we have 3 speakers today. The first speaker, Aska Mugaka, took 6 minutes 45 seconds. The second speaker, our DD, Robert Karanja, took 6 minutes 54 seconds. And the third speaker, Jonathan Kutosi, took 6 minutes 53 seconds. I think they were all within time. On today's topic, we had the first speaker, Ali Makori, who took 2 minutes 5 seconds. The second speaker, Hassan Jibri, took 2 minutes 11 seconds. And August Emmanuel took 34 seconds. On to the evaluator. For the first speaker, we have the content evaluator, Lorraine Wangari, took 2 minutes 58 seconds. Delivery evaluator Shibode Andaje took 3 minutes 29 seconds, and our language evaluator Hiba took 1 minute 29 seconds. They were all within time. The evaluator for the one speaker, we have the content evaluator Ali Makori 2 minutes 19 seconds. Delivery evaluator Dean Robertson took 3 minutes 4 seconds. And then we have language evaluator Hiba took 1 minute 14 seconds, and they were all within time. For the third speaker, we have HIV Rubia content evaluator took 3 minutes 58 seconds. Delivery evaluator Hassan Jabri took 3 minutes 19 seconds, and language evaluator Hiba Ashraf took 1 minute 24 seconds. Each 2 minutes 4 seconds, and they were all with time. Thank you, and to you, Madam G, are out of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Taima. Let me call upon our grammarian.
Okay, I'll start off with who all used the word for today, epiphany. I will give it over to Tiyamori, who have used epiphany more than once. And then the content evaluator 2 have used epiphany. The delivery evaluator 2 have used epiphany. The content evaluator 3 as well as delivery evaluator 3 also have used the word of the day. Rest all haven't used. But either ways, do keep in mind, epiphany is a sudden realization or insight that have been evoked from within whenever you see something and then you get a burst of understanding inside. Okay, now coming to the table topics, there were only 3 speakers today. So the first speaker, Ali Mallory, I hope I'm saying it correct. He have used vocabularies and throughout, which were very interesting, which is thrashing. The way he gave in the starting itself, thrashing, that was I was in awe to see that. And then he used Homo sapiens, that term, to describe humans. Then he said, "Welcome to the world where the only thing permanent is change." That phrase was beautiful as your ending quote. Then Hassan, Toastmaster Hassan, he used assistance, being able to give assistance and giving a charity. It is as a gift and not to be paid back. And it was a way in which we could understand. And both the speakers, there was no grammatical errors. I feel like there was something wrong with my phone because I can't hear any errors. And then the third speaker is have said in a very simple way. He started off with saying that he can do is to smile, and he gave a brilliant smile. And then he said the art of speaking. He said it in that form, which is also really nice. That is the table topics. Next. Yes, next we come to the delivery evaluator number 1. He have used impactful, interest in audience, remnants, that means to think over, then shoulder of the giant, which means to think. Sorry, can you hear? Okay. And then elevate your speech. These were phrases that was wonderfully used. And your way of going with the sandwich method you used that was also really nice. You started off with good things and then suggestions, and then you ended off with good things. And then you came to the content evaluator number 1. There wasn't mistakes as such. And then And then they have used characteristic. That was a good word when you have used in your speech. You told that it was a characteristic of, I'm not really sure that the voice was audible back then, but I couldn't hear more on it. Either ways, I couldn't find any mistakes in your evaluation. Then the content evaluator number 2, he have used beautiful words, which was eloquent, mouthpiece, rudimentary, sign language, then bring back the king's language for the year, king's language for the year. That was just wonderful. That was it's the first time I'm listening to that. And then I commend you as a gem. That was also really nice. Now coming to delivery evaluator number 2, the honor is due. That was also really good. No mistakes as such. I feel like I was listening to the speech so much that I didn't note down few words. So delivery evaluator number 2, I didn't find out any mistakes. Content evaluator number 3, he have used the word of the day epiphany. And then I would like to apologize. Content evaluator number 3 and delivery evaluator number 3, I couldn't hear at all. I hope there is no crutches or like any kind of breaking network. If there is there, do let me know. Yes. Yes, that is it. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, our grammarian, for that comprehensive report. Allow me to call upon the GE to give her GE report. Over to you, Toastmaster Maggie.
Thank you, TMOD. It's been such a joy being here today. And just listening to how you all delivered your roles has been one of those moments that make me feel proud to be a member of Watabaruku. Kudos to the team for bringing together such fantastic role takers. I love the fact that we started bang on time. I'm sad to see that we are not doing well on time. That is an area for us to work on. I love when we started at the meeting, the presiding officer created a space for interaction with guests, making them feel at home, asking them to introduce themselves and even to greet the other members of the audience. That makes people who are visiting for the first time to feel welcome and to feel at home. SAA and a few other people had their videos on. When we go to physical meetings, we don't sit like this with our faces covered. We are present, and we should maintain habit. If not 100% of the time, minimum 80% of the time, let us turn on our videos. The role takers, most of them showed up on time. It's a good habit to notify people. I'm sure you did. I might have missed that. SAA, notify people that the meeting room is open and they can come and test their mics. In fact, when we send out requests for role takers, just remind them to also log in half an hour before time so that they can test their gadgets, because you did notice the TMOD had an issue, our timer had an issue. If they had the opportunity to come in earlier, they might have been able to address that. At the beginning, it's also a good habit to talk about the program swap in case there are people who have not been able to join on time. We can do that. Today didn't happen, inshallah. That was really good. But I do notice that our timer had an issue and the SAA stepped in and we didn't know what was going on there. So calling this is the role of the TMOD, to do the roll call, to make sure that all the role takers are in the room. Again, this is something you do in a physical setting. Let's do it also online. TMOD, you had a very good theme, and I like how you introduced it. And perhaps that is where you lost a lot of time, that the theme was really good. And there was so much there's so much you can say about change. And it's an opportunity there for you to see how you can compress your content, because if it was a speech, 5 to 7 minutes would be all. I will not take a lot of time going through the report. I will send it in writing. I'll just quickly highlight what I loved about the evaluations. In Watabaruku, it's a three-way approach. This is what I call the cherry on top in Watabaruku. And on top of that, the team does share a guide on how to do the feedback so that all the evaluators are following the same guidebook, for lack of a better word. I felt for me, it was an epiphany for the great, having evaluations is like an epiphany for the great way we can thrive by listening to feedback and using it in our day-to-day lives. I hope you all picked lessons from the evaluators who articulated very well the areas of celebration. They gave examples of what they liked about the speeches, what were shared, which is a sign of good listening. Another sign of good listening is that nobody said, as my friend said, which is something that people like to say a lot when you're having discussions. You knew your role and you took on your role. And I loved the transitions between the evaluators. One area for improvement for our role takers, the tag team, which is the timer, the grammarian. We don't have the R in Watabaruku. The timer and the grammarian, see how you can summarize your report so that you allow the general evaluator time to give more feedback for the entire meeting. Because in my role as the evaluator, general evaluator, I'm not just talking about the meeting or the program. I'm also talking about how everybody conducted their role. And if I have restricted time, then I cannot give it much value to the role takers. For the timer, a good opportunity would be to share the timer's report in the chat box. And this is something that can be done by the TMOD, calling on the timer to share the timer's report in the chat. And for the grammarian in Watabaruku, because you already have the opportunity to talk about the grammar part of it, you can summarize that part and only share what you had maybe from the TMOD because you've already highlighted what you had from the speech delivery. Over and above, I loved being here, always do, and look forward to the next meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Madam GE. We exactly have 1 minute to be able to close, but I'm going to close with something that I would all want you to see before I return the control to the presiding officer. The announcements of change really went well. Did it? As you can see from there, you can be able to tell whether that change went well. Eventually, what I want to tell you, it is not the strongest or the most intelligent that will survive, but those that can best manage change. Charles Darwin, over to you, presiding officer.
Thank you so much, Madam Area Director Christine Oyugi, for that amazing session, for leading us, for teaching us about how to handle change in our workplaces in the different areas of our lives. It was a great pleasure for me to have been a part of this meeting. Thank you to all the role takers. Thank you to all the visitors who came and made this meeting happen. And first of all, congratulations to all the speakers who stood up, including myself, who challenged themselves to grow as public speakers and as leaders. I will request the Sergeant at Arms to please share the results of the polls. I meant say them, but it's okay. Congratulations, Hassan, for being the best table topic speaker. Next, we have Hassan on being the best evaluator and Asuka Mogaka on being the best speakers. Great job, everyone. Excellent work. I'm not going to take any comments because we are dead on time, and I believe we need to always end our meetings as advertised. Thank you so much for making this time. I hope that we take up roles for the next meeting. I hope that we continue to challenge ourselves as public speakers and as leaders by stretching ourselves, by challenging ourselves, by doing the things that we actually believe are impossible. Thank you so much. Let us all have a great weekend and a good night. Bye-bye.